Hello, 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 and welcome to another coding one line of code. What do we call this? What are we doing? Hello, it's Friday. Happy Friday to you all. I hope you're having a fantastic, wonderful Friday, rounding out your week. If you have a normal work week, Monday through Friday, I hope that it has gone really well. If you're just starting your week, I hope that it starts off. And excuse me, you're in frame. People. Um, hope hope it's starting off well. If you're midweek, then I hope everything will be smooth sailing from here. Anyway, hello Dukasoft. Fantastically first and slightly less pink, slightly more. What's the word I'm looking for? Pastel. Pastel. I think pastel is the word I'm looking for. So, being Friday, today is what I like to call Community Day, which means that I try to pay more attention. I mean, it really isn't very different from a normal stream, but I try to pay more attention to people in our chat, answer questions, try to make it more open. And if any of you are interested in discussing anything using your beautiful voice, then that's the stream waiting room. Then I invite you to hop into our Discord, hop into the stream waiting room channel. I think. Wait, that was stream room. Jeez, something's got to work. Hop into the stream waiting room channel, and I'll pull you into the actual stream channel where your voice will carry through on the stream. It'll be recorded with the video, and we'll have whatever discussion you want, preferably around technology, preferably around stuff that is happening with you, things that you want us to know about projects, about a certain paradigm, if you want to have a healthy argument about doing a thing a certain way, then I'll try to keep up with you. And of course, by argument, I mean that in the best way. I mean that in the positive way that brings about a consensus or some kind of resolution where two parties have differing opinions and they discuss them civilizedly. I don't know why I'm pausing so much in between all of my words. I apologize. Anyway, so that's where we're at today. Other than that, we will be continuing on with the project until we have anyone that feels like coming in and discussing. And the project that we've been working on is available on the GitHubs. You can find it by following the link above below. What? This is a financial management tracker, one in which I am trying to replace my Access database with a Blazor application so that I can enter all of the transactions that I make. I like to do it manually so that I can see what I'm spending money on, and it makes it more real, makes it easier to manage. I have data entry fields for entering payments, deposits, and transfers. I get to see my account overview along with what is the real actual balance in the account. How much do I have entered into this application that has not been processed yet? And then what is the adjusted balance that I treat as the only amounts of money that I actually have? And so, yeah, we have everything. We have everything from the data entry to the transaction history to the account overview. Other things that we'll want are the ability to edit these items, to hide them, delete them, filter through, etc. I have hiccups now. No more hiccups. We're good to go. So the thing that I said that we'd be working on the most here, and you can probably see it by the name of this branch, is this account summary page. We designed it and we put it on here. And so now we're adding it to the actual application itself. So we may as well have it running so that we can see changes that we make happen using hot reload. Reload. CD, fine and man. And I'm using the Blazor Wasm hosting model with hosted ASP.NET Core backend just because it's easiest for me to code against. But really, we're just working in Blazor. The actual hosting model doesn't matter. We could put the same code in Blazor server. We could put it in a Maui hybrid. It's all good. I'm trying to go into the server. Watch. I don't know what these throwaway sayings, where these throwaway sayings are coming from. I was in a meeting all the way up until about 10:25, maybe 10:26, maybe 10:26 with 12 seconds to be exact, and 658 milliseconds. Kidding, I have no idea. So I went upstairs and grabbed a snack, and yeah, kind of out of breath. That's probably why my brain is a little scattered. I didn't have that extra 10-minute buffer time for my brain to prepare for the stream. Normally, I am still like coding away, but I'm not having other people's voices in my ears or stuff that I need to follow someone else say. And that usually makes it more difficult for me to be prepared for the stream. It's weird because I watch other people stream while I stream, and I generally listen to them streaming too. So I don't know what's different about that. It's weird. It's like, I don't know, the difference between interacting with someone that's expecting you to respond to them versus someone that's just presenting information. So anyway, the stream that I have going on in the background, just so you know, is none other than the famous BitGamey. So I'm going to give him a quick shout. Actually, let's do a so. He has some really cool stream activities, stream interactions. So let's see if we can get a good clip of him. He's working on a game called I Am a Dog. BitGamey, everybody. He's such a big.
And Dukasoft is also continuing the theme of
yes,
trying to make me be a baby
yes,
for the whole stream.
Dukasoft
so,
called it.
Dukasoft. That's what I've got to say to that.
Yes. Oh man, so Dukasoft put in chat he's such a baby. It's because he has the one of the interactivities he has is the ability I think they're Snapchat filters to make himself look like a baby. And apparently Dukasoft was using it over and over, or he had whatever these are called, a challenge. Is that what they're called? To be a baby the entire stream. And that just happened to be the clip that it chose. He's still a baby. This is what he looks like as a baby, by the way, if you didn't see it in the small thumbnail. A baby wearing glasses? Anyway, awesome person. He's really, really laid back, really fun to hang out with. Such a cool guy. So definitely give him a view. Especially if you're into game dev. He uses Unity. He uses Unity. I saw a graph and I was like, are you using Unreal? But no, it's definitely Unity. Okay, so of course I am trying to procrastinate and push off doing UI work. Oh my goodness, that's loud. I'm gonna have to turn them down. Oh jeez. Duke soft. Good times. It said it's time to grow up. Oh wait, you're such a baby. Oh man. Okay. I was creating the model to be used for displaying the information because right now all that we have is an account view model thing that's specifically for this drop down list. And it's for creating, oh, sorry, this drop down list. And it's for creating, or just for displaying accounts so that you can select them when you're either paying from an account, depositing into an account, or transferring from one account to another. And by account, I just mean any financial service that you have, and you'll add those yourself. So it'll be things like checking accounts, savings accounts, credit cards, loans, whatever you want to track. I guess I could put my house loan on here. Although, if I do, like my escrow or my mortgage, if I do, then you're really only going to see, not you, me. Then I'm really only gonna see stuff happen once a year, because, well, I guess if I did the escrow and the loan, then I could somehow tie those two together. But that's like extra logic. That's more logic than I want to add to the app. Some way to say that when this account is increasing, use that number to decrease or to show as a pending for this other account. So for example, I always pay my credit card from my checking account. And so every time that I make a credit card payment, I'd like it to appear as a pending decrease in my checking account. That would be cool. Holy cow, his voice thingy is super loud. He was on mute because I was in that meeting earlier, so this is the first time that I'm really hearing his bot noise. Oh wait, you're such a baby. All right, 10. Wait, what am I doing? I'm watching Bit Gamey is what I'm doing and getting distracted. No, we are creating this account summary model so that we can display only the information that we need, but part of that is the transaction total. I keep going here because I'm trying to show this thing. We need the component showing already. It'll have the account, the name of the account, the current balance, pending amount, and the adjusted balance. So the thing that I'm keeping in the model is the account name, probably the account ID, the um, current balance, and yeah, I'm gonna have to mute him. That TTS is super duper loud, and it's in a high pitched voice, and it keeps making me lose my train of thought. This is what I was talking about earlier. Something that feels like it needs your attention, and so you just kind of lose your brains. Where did this come from? Oh, this is okay. So I was looking at this, and I'm like, I don't remember entering any line items. This is not the web app. Although that means that the web app was done so well that it looks exactly like the design. Oh my goodness, this kid. Moving on. I'm trying to create this component and the model for this component. And so an account summary would need the account ID. Yay, a canceled meeting. I think Monday is a holiday, by the way. Um, I should probably find that out if it's actually a holiday that Sajetti observes. But if it is, then I won't be streaming on Monday. Just letting you know now. Just letting you know now. So anyway, we have the account ID is what I was saying. The account name, double current balance, double pending transactions. Pending. How about just pending? Then we'll have a account balance display text, which is going to be a property that is comprised of current balance and if good grief, if pending is not zero, so the only thing that we care about is if pending is not zero. Normally you would do something like, greater than zero or whatever. But in this case, we can have a pending balance that is either positive or negative. Speaking of, we're going to have to deal with the issue of oh my gosh, why can't I brain today? What is going on? Is anyone else feeling like a mental squishiness? Hard to keep focus? Those of you that don't already struggle with keeping focus, that is. Um, Maybe subconsciously I knew that. Like I've been writing the date all day long, like twice, and I didn't realize that it was Friday the 13th. Okay, so now that I'm aware of it, I am going to not. I'm just gonna not. All right, so Tyron is here though. Tyron says work rolled out a group policy that messed up our start menu and taskbars. Ah, GP update force. GP update force. Every 5 minutes. Did they fix it? GP update force. I hope that they resolve it soon. It sounds productive. Sounds very disproductive. Okay, so if our pending balance is not zero, we're going to display that there is a pending amount. And then for our adjusted balance, which is also going to be a double, we don't need the word text on here. For our adjusted balance, we're going to do current balance plus pending. And the thing that I was starting to say earlier, that now that I'm grabbing hold of these brain gray matter cells, was that we're going to have to deal with accounts in which, when you are submitting a payment from that account, does that increase the amount of money in that account, such as in a credit card? So whenever you make a payment from a credit card, you're increasing the balance on your credit card. Or something like a checking or savings account, where if you make a payment from that, you're decreasing the amount from there. So we'll need a way to identify an account as you increase on payments or decrease on payments. Who let Bardaki out? Oh, wait, what? I bet you it's more like, who let Bardaki out? If you're interested in finding out, subscribe below. What? Thing is so loud. So we have our account summary. That's all that we need. Different from our account view model, which I really should rename. This really is a lookup. I just don't want to add more words to this. Account lookup view model. And if I do it to this, then I need to do it to payee as well. Payee lookup view model. Oh man. We added a new functionality to our app, which is pretty cool. The app that I'm working on for work is a diagnostics utility app for your operating system for Windows that will detect and help you troubleshoot any issues that you have. And one of the things that the client wanted in it was a the icon for your system to show up on the page, and not icon, the image for your system to show up on the page when you first log in or when you first launch it. And so we now have an API client essentially. It's just a HTTP client that is specific to doing this one task of going out, checking to see if there's an image for your machine based on your model number and your product ID, all of that stuff. Goes out, gets the image from the site, and downloads it. If, or while it's downloading the image or while it's fetching the image, it shows an icon, which I already had. And that icon is based off of what type of machine is it? Is it a desktop? Is it an all-in-one? Is it a laptop? Is it a tablet? So it'll have an appropriate icon to represent the machine type. But then as soon as it fetches the image, it changes over to the image itself, and it's so good. And then it caches the image on the machine so that it never has to go out and find it again. Ever. So it was really fun to work on that and seeing it happen. So that's going to be in the app soon. Um, and then the other thing that I'm working on for it is just cleaning up the UI. So much UI work, but that's okay. I still get to have fun with it on occasion. Speaking of UI work, let's finish up with this account summary component, shall we? Oh my gosh. Okay, so we are going to, I don't know if I decided. Apparently I did. Never mind. We are going to fetch the account not fetch. We're going to pass in the account summaries list, which this is now going to be account summary now that we have a model for it. We're going to pass in the account summaries list into the grid component, which means that we're going to fetch the account summaries in the parent component. Crap. No. I need to update this. This is account summary model. And the reason that I need to update this is because I have a component called account summary, and that name is going to conflict with the account summary model, which is now just account, or what used to be account summary, which is now account summary model. Okay, so this thing needs a code behind file because it's going to do more than just like have parameters. And like I've still used code behind files regardless of whether it's going to be just parameters or not. I just like having the code behind file. I had a different opinion before, but now it's like I always use code behind. I'm looking for text editor, maybe. Projects and solutions. Yeah, it's got to be text editor. And Tyron says, I only use code behind. Yeah. It's just, for me, it really is easier to maintain. But I still will violate that because on occasion there are times when I want to. Um, Let me see if I can find this real quick. There are times when I want to use the at um, syntax when I have separate. Gosh, brain, do it. I can't find the thing that I'm looking for while I'm talking for some reason. Why is today so hard? I already asked, and I already know why I forgot. Anyway, uh, the instances that I would use the code block is if there were ever a time, and this is not often at all, where I would need a render fragment. Something to render. And since this is a private field, um, then I would use the at syntax to do all of my markup that this render fragment would be. But again, this is very, very, very rare. Like I think I do it once in my work product because all of my side drawers, it's one flyout component, and then I have a templated flyout content component. And so this will just say, um, well, it's actually passing it to my UI state that says my current active content, flyout content is, and then whatever flyout content with all of the um, markup for it inside of it, which is usually just another component that can be put inside of the flyout or it can be standalone. It could be a page, it could be a dialogue. It doesn't matter, but this is some other content, you know, or component, I guess, is what I mean to say. But similarly, if I was going to do it in code, then I would just use builder, render tree builder. But it's just so much easier for me to maintain this when it looks like HTML or Razor markup, I guess. But that would be the only instance that I've been using the code block as opposed to code behind file. Oh boy. Okay, so we are making headway. We now have a code behind file for account summary. So let's, oh yeah. Okay, so then the thing that I was looking for, which I thought I had already set, was whenever I create new files, it is supposed to give me file scope namespaces. Okay, so it was probably just the refactor tool that made it not give me the file scope namespace when I did control dot on at code block. Okay, so what do you need? You need a private transaction. Oh, do I have an account service? Is that what this is? I I I account service? No. I transaction service? No. I have two things. I have an I transaction service that uses generic so that I can do any kind of transaction that I might add in the future. I don't know what other transactions there are other than deposit, transfer, and payment. Um, um, you know what? I just thought of a new transaction type that we could add eventually could be a recurring transaction. I mean, it's still just a payment, but it's on a schedule. Or, yeah, actually, it's more than just a payment. It could be a payment, deposit, or transfer that is recurring. So it'd be like a super transaction that has baby transactions. Anyway, so that tells me that I either need to create an account service or I can use the lookup service, because really it's it really is just a lookup service. Because I'm planning on maintaining my accounts, my payees, and all of the other lookup lists together. So they're all going to be handled through iLookupList. And this is technically just a different type of get for an account. I don't like that. I'm going to create an account summary service. Just like this, or just an account service, just like this thing wants me to do. So to create new service classes, the way that I do it is I have a shared library for all of my service interfaces. I cuenta service. I need this to be smaller so that I can see this. You'll be public because you're in another assembly. I could put them all in the same assembly and have all of these be internal. However, I would like them to be public so that if I am doing testing on it, I can just easily overwrite them. Tyron came up with this really cool thing where he had his DB context, I think it was, be internal, DB context factory, be an internal so that he didn't expose, I don't remember what it was. It was either the repositories or the DB context itself, but he didn't want to expose the database implementation everywhere. So he found a way to be able to provide, yeah, it was DB Context Factory, to be able to provide the DB context without having that be public. Yeah. But then he ran into another issue. But it was a cool thought. Anyway, what is this thing going to do? This thing is going to have get account summaries. Wow. Except you are forgetting something, which are the cancellation token, which is optional. And you guys are now account lookup models. I mean, it was cool that it tried. Account lookup view models. Whoops. I call it a view model, which means I should probably call you a view model as well. Consistency is key. Where did that M come from? Oh, somehow lost track of my multi-caret. Okay, so we have an iAccount service that we're going to need to have DI'd. I don't know why you're telling me it doesn't exist, because my imports.razor should already have all of my service interfaces. Wait, now you definitely should just be working, because I do have a new class called iAccount service, provided I named it the right thing. Oh, except that this is in a code behind file, so we still need the using statement since I didn't put it in global usings. Do you guys like global usings? Do you not like global usings? If so, If not, why? As you can tell, I don't have any except for the implicit usings. But personally, I have not been a fan of it because I mean, I don't know why. I honestly don't know why. It would have the same issues as using the imports file for all of these using. I like my clutter at the top of every file. You know, it's really odd. I'm starting to rethink whether or not I do or do not like it. Because I love using imports.razor, which is essentially a global usings for all of your Razor files, Razor components. And if I mirrored this in a global usings, for example, why do you have that had a semicolon in it? What? You there, weirdo. Um, if I did that, then my code behind files should also be much smaller. Like I'm not. Did I name it incorrectly? .NET, I don't know. .NET whatever. Usings. Is it just global using? Oh, I need the keyword global on it. That's what it was. It's I haven't done this. Okay. Don't blame me, all of you who are out there that know the answer and you're just like, just figure it out already. Okay. Use the keyword global. Interesting. My components is not part of my global usings. I mean, the the reason that I was what's the word? The thing that was most convincing to me, the argument against global usings that I thought was good was that it's kind of hard to know where these objects are coming from. Like what the heck is account service? Where in the heck are you coming from? But in Visual Studio, like, that's a tough one. Because I forget that not everyone is going to be using Visual Studio for an open source project. Like, I know that in maintaining this, I'll be using Visual Studio. And I know that in Visual Studio, if I ever wanted to know the namespace for a thing, I just hover over it. I'm like, oh, this is in Finance Man shared account services. Shared service interfaces, I said. So it's easy to inspect, easy enough to inspect and find out, where are these objects coming from. But if it's someone else that's trying to learn alongside you or maintain your repo, let's say they're just making edits directly in GitHub without using code spaces or anything, they're just modifying a file, then they don't really know what namespaces they have available to them. Interesting. I don't know what to tell myself. Hmm. And the other thing is, I think this thing is still giving me .NET compile errors from the command line tool. And it looks like you might have to rerun your app if you add global usings. Ooh, ooh, what is this? Who is they? Oh, duh. I'm trying to inject a iAccount service. But guess what? iAccount service has not been registered to the DI container yet. But we'll do that. So first, before registering it, we need to have implementations for it. And so I have two implementations for each service, one that can be called from a client side that uses a HTTP client, and another that can be called from the server side, or anything running on the same machine that your database is on and doesn't need to go through a HTTP request to get to. There have been some really cool things that people have done. And in fact, I think it's the most popular way to do it, which is just if you're going to have both hosting models side by side, Blazor Wasm and Blazor Server, or you're trying to go from Blazor Wasm to Blazor Server, you just add a HTTP client to your Blazor Server app and use the same service anyway. But you would still need an implementation on your server, on your API, that will do it, that will perform the request. The other places that I would have another implementation are ad hoc implementations during testing. So for a particular test, let's say that I only want to implement certain aspects of the iAccount service, then I could override, or not override, but create my own implementation for the test. Which, of course, if I'm testing account service, that wouldn't be a good idea. But if I'm testing anything that's dependent on account service, then it's like, yeah, just assume that account service, whatever method you're calling works, gives you back what you want. So good, many good reasons for using interfaces anyway, anyway, as opposed to abstract classes too. All right. So let's create those two services. We have a account service here in the client side, and we have an account service here in the server side. Both of those will implement iAccount service. Nope, that's iComponent activator. Nice try. Make it public. We'll implement the methods. Same deal. Next question for the community. Do any of you like anime? Random. Of course, none of you are in any way required to answer any of the questions that I ask. I'm just shouting it. I mean, saying these things because it is Community Day. I want to let you know I am focused on you while I focus on code. What? Yeah, this is kind of bad because I'm doing all of these maintenance things through the iLookup service. Dukasoft is not a fan of me. Are your kids? And would you allow them to be if they wanted to be? U21R says, I watch anime sometimes. I watch a lot of anime. Have watched a lot of anime. I haven't been watching much anime lately because there isn't that much exciting me anymore. Especially since my taste in anime is pretty narrow. I'm gonna call it narrow. I want get account summaries. This is what I'm looking for. So I like to have my services in get, put, post, delete order. Get, post, put, delete order. That's what I said. Anyway, I'm looking for recommendations. And if I've seen it, then that doesn't matter. There was one that I was excited about until I saw the trailer, which is a Trigun remake. Oh my gosh, that looks terrible to me. Why would they do that? The original was so good. The animation on it was fantastic. The art style was great. I wouldn't have mind seeing a remake though. But the original was fantastic, so I'm not super sad. Okay, get account summaries. And also, oh, right. You know what? Dang it. Yeah, never mind. There is no you know what there. I need to add two methods. One of them is get accounts plural async, and the other is get account by ID, which is just get account. Then we have get account summaries, and then get account summary. And those are the ones that we're going to implement. I'm going to go ahead and copy pasted this into the server side service implementation, and then add those two methods to the interface. Dang it. Of course, you know what I really want to do today. Awesome. I greatly appreciate lurkers. As I keep mentioning, you're not in any way, shape, or form obligated or required to chat if you don't feel like it. If you just feel like hanging out, getting some whatever the word is, getting some productivity vibes when I'm not so brain all over the place. Like I really think it's a subconscious thing that knows it's Friday the 13th, and my brain is like, you know what, you're supposed to be acting all off because it's Friday the 13th, obviously. I'm like, no, that's not really true. It's just another day. I mean, there are, well, then again, I am a firm believer in the energies that people give off will affect you. And so if a lot of people are under the same gios, can I use that term? That Friday the 13th means that you're supposed to be crazy or off kilter or helter skelter or whatever term you want to use, then yeah, that energy is going to affect me and you and anyone else. But yeah, if you do have any recommendations for animes that recently have come out, or even like from a long time ago, because there's still a few gaps that I have for animes that I haven't seen, just give me any recommendation and I will note it, even if it's not in the style of anime that I enjoy. It's just I'm so picky. I'm so picky. And you know what else is weird? Why do we correct people when they say manga, but we don't correct people when they don't say anime? It's the same deal. Chainsaw Man. I keep hearing about that one. Yeah. So that again, that one's not in my style, but I keep hearing that it's good. So I may as well check it out. Been a while since I've taken notes. Stream notes. I'm picky too, so I don't really have any recommendations. And our pickiness probably doesn't really overlap. Like, I guess examples of anime that I absolutely enjoyed are things like, and of course, coming up with names off the top of my head. We'll start with Code Geass because I use the word Geass. I don't really like Clamp's art style that much, but the story of Code Geass was fantastic. And Lelouch, oh my gosh, I guess Johnny Bosch. I think he's Johnny Bosch. Anyway, yeah, so I liked it, the story for that. Um, Ergo Proxy, I'm definitely into that art style. Ergo Proxy was so good too. Um, the gun one, what are you called? I can see your pictures. You know, the one gun anime. Because there's only one. Um, yeah, there's a few on my list. I really like Chrome Shelled Regios, even though it was kind of juvenile, I guess, in a way. But it was still really cool. Anyway, moving on. Uh, I'm open still though, but I'll try. I'm gonna try Chainsaw Man. I've got to. I've heard nothing but good stuff about it. How do we get account stuff? Uh, you guess, obviously. Oh, since I created the services, I may as well go ahead and add them to the dependency injection container so that I don't forget. Oops. And I do that through these add X services. So add client services would be all of my services for the client side implementations of these things. Add server services would be for the server side, obviously. Oh, okay. So that's client side, and this is server side. Oh yeah. Oh, King's Avatar. That was cool. It's a Chinese anime. Or are they still called anime if they're Chinese? Animation. Masu, stop disappearing on me. Um, yeah, yeah. So, like I said, I was trying, or I will try any anime because I've found that the ones that I'm just like, there's no way I'm going to enjoy this. I picked up because I had nothing else to watch and I enjoyed it. And it's probably just because I'm like in a drought. But um, oh gosh, if you haven't seen Link Click though, that's a fantastic example of art style that's not the most beautiful. It's got kind of washed out pastel color scheme, but holy cow, it's still so artistic. Plus, it's got a great story. Plus, the voice actors are awesome. It's so good. I love them. Loved them all. Okay. Um our I really should have like a very um, yeah, I do this all of the time for every single one of my services, and I think this every time, but um, all of my client side services use a HTTP client to do a HTTP request, and that request for the getters always looks the same except for the URL and any query string parameters. And the same thing for my posts. They always look the same except for the URL and the model that's being passed in as the request body. And my puts and my deletes. Well, deletes are almost always the same. Oh, except for URL endpoint. And so what I would really like to do is just create a whole bunch of extensions off of HTTP client that do exactly what I want, because these are supposed to return, now that I think of it, dang it, response models. And I need to get rid of delete for now, which just needs another one of these, which I am now, I'm pretty sure I'm still calling response model, right? Yeah, response model. And the reason that I always return a response model, oops, dang it, and my IEnumerable of response models are supposed to be response models of IEnumerable. The reason that I do this is because all of my HTTP requests and error handling and all of that stuff is done here in the service, which again, if I made an extension or if I just had a separate base class that did, or that provides the HTTP get, put, post, delete methods, I always get back, was this thing successful or was it not? What in the, what? And you are response model base int. You need to get rid, oh, wrong one, all the way down here. So they always do all of the error handling for me so that I always get back an okay, no matter what, from the server. But what I get with that okay is more information for my application specifically about whether or not this thing was successful. Something still feels off. Like, was it giving me extra angle brackets? Is that what the deal is? Something. And then the thing that I get with that response model is the ability to use my UI. Dang, that's not going to work. Oh, yeah, it is. To display the messages and be like, hey, Yun's had an issue. Here's a friendly response for you that doesn't crash the app. All right. And finally, you there. Water. You all get updated. Pasta. Okay. All right, we're back. So let's go ahead and implement the client side first because it's easiest, in my opinion. And the client side, again, like I said, is just a HTTP request to the specific endpoint. And that endpoint will be created in a second, but first we'll go ahead and set up my getters, which are just going to return HTTP client dot get from JSON async of IEnumerable of account lookup view model to the endpoint API slash accounts period. So this is going to, oh, with the cancellation token being passed in. Oh, and it's a response model. Ugh, that's why it's still angry. This kid, he'll remember. He'll remember one day. Response modelo. And now that's covered up again. Yay! Did you hear about the guy who froze to death at the drive-in? He went to see Closed for the Winter. That's terrible. Poor guy. I keep adding like a million, billion, trillion angle brackets. And I don't like that this thing is like. You know what though? We're going with it. I'm going to try it this time. I really don't like having these be a nullable value because I know for a fact that all of my responses will be giving us back a non-null response model base, especially when I do all of the generic error handling I do for my getter. But for now, since I don't have that, I'm going to go ahead and just add the nullability indicator, or whatever the question mark, the official term for this question mark is. Let's do that over here, 2 or 3. Question mark. Yeah, because what I would normally do is surround this thing with a try catch. And if the HTTP request fails, then we handle that and we still return a response model. It would just have an empty data and error messages. When we do a post, oh yeah, and then the other one is if the from JSON part of this, which is when it tries to deserialize the response, if that fails, then it either tries to parse the HTML. 200, okay, there was an error. It either tries to parse the HTML and say, was this, or not even the HTML. First, it goes to status message, and then it says, was this a 4xx error, or was this a 500 error? And then handle it appropriately. And then if it needs more information, then it tries to parse the HTML from the response. Like sometimes it'll be a login page that it gets back because the controller is behind a authorize attribute and it's not logged in or something like that. For examples. Moving on. Our get singular account is very easy. It's get account, but you just pass in the account ID as part of the route. At least that's what we're going to make it. And you're not going to be an INumerable. You're going to be a singular account. Oh, crap. And I think all of these need to be nullable too. I still think that the data property in a response model is nullable. Yeah. So we're fine. It's assumed that anytime that you make a request from the server, you won't get any actual data back. You might just get something back that says there was an error while trying to get this. All right, so account summary is going to be a very, very similar pattern. 404, have you seen my content? I have not, Dukasoft. Do you know where you last put it? Summaries. And let's retrace your steps. When was the last time you saw your content? And this is account ID. Okay, Right now, I'm not going to be worried about doing the puts and posts and deletes because that's already handled in our lookup list stuff. Oh, you're not enumerable. 500 out of coffee. Internal error. Not enough coffee. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. Oh, son. We're just going to go straight over to the server-side account service to implement those. Actually, we're going to do the middle part first, which is to create a controller at this endpoint in our API so that when we're using a client-side application that uses the HTTP client to do requests to the server, it has somewhere to go. And the other thing is that because I'm making these modular, I have my shared server here. It doesn't have to be an API a hosted API server side thing. What's the word I'm looking for? These services don't have to be implemented in an API. They could be used directly in the app if you have a server side application, for example. So, Blazor server and Blazor WebAssembly hosted and just a completely separate API project would all work just fine. In fact, I really want to make this a standalone web API project that doesn't launch a browser when you start it, which means that we would have to do something like app enable CORS, use CORS, and then we put in our endpoints for where we're allowed to do requests from. Unless it's a public API, of course, which this is not. But you would still need to do use CORS if it's a public API. You would just put in a star or allow all origins, allow any origin, something like that. Okay, but here is our server. So we're going to create an accounts controller. Controller. I wonder if it knows how to scaffold a controller. It does not. Let's see if I know how to scaffold a controller. I do not. We need a base route. I thought you were going to fill that in for me, jerk. And we need it to be an API controller. And we need it to inherit from base controller. Or maybe just controller. My keyboard is dying again. It's almost like I use you 24 hours a day. Except when I'm cooking. All right, what am I doing wrong? It's API controller, controller base. Okay. We got the route, we got API controller, we got the controller itself inheriting from controller base. I'm not exactly sure why this thing is angry at me. When declared or when decorated on an assembly, all controllers in the assembly will be treated as controllers with API behavior. And it's telling me I have a duplicate API controller attribute. Which would mean that I have in my assembly decorated it with API controller. But if that was the case, then these would also be angry at me. But they're not. Oh, this one's more helpful. finiteman.server.controllers already contains a definition for accounts controller. And the accounts controller comes from my lookups right here. So what I'll do that wouldn't work. They'd be inheriting from two different base classes. Yeah, we're just going to rename this one to account lookups controller. And same thing for payees. That means that we can keep this one as just accounts controller and we'll be fine. All right, mystery solved. Wavy hands, here's some magic. Yes, except that you need to do some real logic. All of these are going to essentially be this, except they will be async task of. Do I have this turned on? I do now. And they're just going to return okay, but we also need, before we do the next part, gosh, I'm trying to go in order, but I keep forgetting things. Our service that will be providing the data for us. We're going to create a private read-only field. We're going to accidentally delete that. We're going to return, oh wait, get accounts. Give me the rest of them, please. No, I said the rest of them. You are Copilot, right? You can do more than one line of code at a time. What about account summary? Do you know that I want account summary? Yes, you do. What about my post inputs? Oops. Why am I even writing code at all, ever? Boy. If you could only see the way. Anyway, I really literally just tabbed my way to victory there. Hit enter, tab, enter, tab. I am reviewing it and it looks fine to me. Everything is returning its service version of the request, and we know that we're getting the IDs from route in the cases where we are going by ID. And then this is an account lookup view model that we're passing in to create an account. And then to update an account, we're passing in the account lookup view model, and we're just doing an update on it. Fantastic. Great. Wonderful. Marvelous. All right. So yes, that thing really did just write itself. Go us. Go away. I don't want to see you anymore. You too. I'm done with server. Let's get away from server. Let's do the, well, you know what I meant. Done with the API. Let's do the account service on the server side. After I just finished saying I am done with server. All right, one thing that we'll want in this service is access to the database because we know we're going to be getting data back from the database. Do you know that I want an IDB context factory? What if I start typing I? No. Have you guys found yourself talking to your code more often? Yeah, we got a glimpse into the future devs. Just tab complete and review. Done, done, and done. Absolutely. But at the same time, I mean, there's still like, well, I guess eventually, if the model gets trained really, 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 really well, then it's going to eventually pick up on the optimization tricks that people have come up with. And then it's just going to be feeding into itself. So there is still going to be a job for developers to retrain a model so that it's not always just feeding onto itself, the same thing. And it's like, yeah, oops, that should be read only. I know how to do this. It's like someone found a better way to do it. So we'll be able to spend more of our time coming up with creative solutions that are faster, better, and, and just good. I wish Dad would skip the review part. I love coding. I know that there are arguments out there for how AI is going to destroy a lot of jobs, especially in creativity now with the art stuff that's happening with who was it? Dev Merlin showed me novel AI, which is pretty cool, where you are pretty much writing a story on your own. You put in so many characters and then you push a button and then the AI will write the next part of the story for you. And it's kind of like a prompt to help you keep writing your story. Well, eventually the AI would learn enough of what makes a good story that it'd be able to write the story for you. And thank you so much for the follow, Georgie. Georgie Arn. I think that's an R. Yep. And, it's going to be like the first one that everyone gets. I love that sound. the uh, the AI will eventually learn what people like as far as making a. Okay, Georgie, I like that. Georgie said Michael Jackson's pronouns are he and I can't do it because it'd be too loud and I don't want to make loud noises. But it was funny. I liked it. So anyway, AI is going to get good enough to be able to write stories, full entire novels. And everyone's going to benefit from it because they get to read novels that they like, but then it'll still just eventually turn into Cosmic Latte, into this mesh of regurgitated, everything evens out into where's the creativity. So once again, I think that we're going to still have plenty of jobs for people that like those specific fields, like art, graphics design, story writing, programming. I just don't know what I'm going to do if I'm not able to write code. But I have so many things that I want to do, but my passion is writing code. Dr. Moomba says, I don't think AI will destroy it. We'll just force people to expand into a different way and focus areas. The more you embrace it, it will just be cool. I absolutely agree with you. So I'm in that camp. Absolutely. Oh, Death Parade. I completely forgot Death Parade. Death Parade is a really, really cool anime. Again, animation style that I don't necessarily am. It's not super appealing to me, but holy cow, the story, the character arcs, the interaction between characters, and then the artistry of it. So even though I don't like the animation, the art style, I love the way that they animated them. Moving on, back to the AI topic. Gomen. Uh, I've been playing. The reason that this comes up often for me is I am twofold. I am part of a group that is trying to explore what the metaverse is going to look like and how to develop for the metaverse. What kinds of technologies we'll be using, what will the apps look like, how will people interact with it, how will people interact with each other. And AI is a big part of that. Then the other one is I have been playing a lot with Stable Diffusion and trying to visualize my characters, the characters that I have in mind that I would love to fully um, realize is what I'm looking for. And so I'm getting inspiration from using Stable Diffusion, from using all of these checkpoint models and safe tensors and whatever else they're called, but the models that are trained on specific image sets and artists and styles to generate concept art of what my characters would look like based off of what I know about them so far. Um, and it's been addicting. I've generated over, I don't know, over 1,000 pictures maybe by now. I think I counted 200 that have not been reviewed yet. Never mind. There are 900 and uh, gosh, numbers 921, 22 images that I've generated just from that computer. And then from the other computer, another 134. Oh, plus the archived ones, plus the text to image ones. So, yeah, probably around 2,000. 2,000 images that I've generated using AI. Yes. Oh, good. We're going to have a release in March. Good to know. So for me, because I have no artistic ability and I'm doing something that is for fun for myself, I am absolutely benefiting from having AI that is trained on good art on models that can generate the images that I'm looking for and a whole bunch that I'm not looking in a bad way. I'm going to do this part really fast without talking through it really, but let's keep talking. If you have anything to contribute to that, I'm very interested in hearing your thoughts on the AI revolution because I know that what I thought of as the unpopular uh, opinion is actually the popular opinion, which is, at least a lot of people that come around the stream agree that AI is just another step forward in whatever it is that we're doing. So if you think about it, programming, software development used to be punch cards, which isn't software, I guess it's still, but it used to be punch cards that you fed through a system that was able to read those punch cards to do math or whatever it is that you do with those. Um, and then technology evolved so that now you have these circuit boards that can be arranged in a specific pattern so that the ones and zeros become soft cards, TM. Duke soft cards. Um, so that you can now digitally do the same process plus more. And then that got to where you could rearrange those things as it's running. So now you can do more with the same initial thing, which is like the only thing I know how to do is program these punch cards and process them to now I have to learn how to write symbols in order to do the same thing where I could just quickly punch in. punch in some holes. Um, yeah, you know what point I'm trying to get to. The AI writing the code for you is just another step in let's do this thing faster so we can do more with it in a slightly different way. Head talk over. Any questions or contributions? And I'm probably just repeating myself a lot because I say this a lot, but I am just very excited about the possibilities of being able to write more advanced code with limited knowledge. I really want to learn those things, but I find myself hitting a wall very, very quickly. Super. Like one thing that I want to be able to do is make an application that is for writing software in augmented reality. And I don't know very much about Unity, even though I've been doing nothing but Unity for quite some time. But now I'm stuck on this image thing, so I haven't been doing Unity lately. But as soon as we're finished with this project, we're gonna go on to figuring out how to do augmented reality development. I'm decided. I'm probably not gonna have the same following, but I'll try to find a way to do Blazor with it. I'm just too excited about that, and I want to learn about it. But I also want to do way too many things all at the same time. Ooh, I forgot my using statement. Super. So Dr. Moomba says, on your point or of more just got on. No worries, no worries. Again, I really don't mean to make you guys feel like you actually have to respond, but I don't want you to feel like your opinion would get stepped on if you do respond. Dang it, I forgot about that too. Anyway, Dr. Moomba is saying maybe a second step will be that we decrease or release our release times of a whole app software in like 1 to 2 days instead of months. Now that would be nice. Yeah, it's like I want to see this thing realized and done. And yeah, it'll cost less, which means that the developers will be getting paid less. But then again, there's still going to be a need for somebody to do something in place of what a developer was doing. And those would just be skills that we'll have to suck up and bite the bullet on, as it were. We're just getting accounts. Let's get the accounts. Let's write both of these at the same time. We're going to do var, not var. Are we going to do var? Do vari. Count list equals. So this is where if you had repositories, it would probably be easier. But I don't do depositories, suppositories. I don't do repositories. Because it's just as easy to write a quick query for it. This one should just be 2V model. Oh, right. Something that I forgot. Something that I forgot will be as no tracking. Obviously. Select your x.2 model. This might actually give us an error because there is no method named 2 model, and I think we ran into that when we were doing it using the lookup list. But for this one, specifically for the account summaries, we will need to include all of the transactions, plural, and then we can select, actually, we'll just leave it at that. And the reason why is because we need to get all of our payment transactions, all of our deposit transactions, and all of our transfer transactions so that we can properly add or subtract the amounts and get the current balance by account. Yeah. So this is going to be account groups instead. Oh, yeah. So this one is done. That to list. Async. And so you're just going to be resp data. Enumerable of account lookup view model, which is what 2 model gives us. Are you telling me that you can't cast a list to an enumerable? Oh, wait, what? Oh, wait. This. I know what I'm doing. Serially. All right, so this one needs to be grouped because, good grief, man. I was doing really well for a second there. But then I had like 80 messages just come in, only one of which was important. So we're looking for x.payment, then include x.trans, what did I call it? Entries, payment details. And we need to go back to transactions to get our deposits. Oops, transactions first, then include deposits. And then we need to go back to this to get our transfers. Try not to cry. Challenge. And include transfers. Transfer. I got jinxed. All right, and the reason that we are doing this is so that we can group by account. May as well just do account ID. Phone, calm down. I just need to turn it on Do Not Disturb. But what if? What if this is the one rare occasion when I'm going to get a phone call that I absolutely need, or an email that I absolutely need to respond to? Why did you do account type ID? You're just supposed to be ID. Okay, so now we're going to create our return model, which is going to be a list of account summary. And the way that I'll do it is by making an empty list of account. And for each, and I could do this one using link as well, but I can't think of it off the top of my head with how scatterbrained I guess I'm feeling right now. You're returning the wrong thing. No, you're not. Okay. I could do this with link. But for each account group in account groups, we're going to ret model add, not account group, not 2p model. Nice try though. Account group dot, no, not even that. Oh my goodness. What's confusing me? New, yeah, just new, because it knows the type implicitly from a this, and that will have an account ID. You're not supposed to be an account lookup item view model. You're supposed to be an account summary item. I'm so confusing myself. The account ID is going to be the key. The account name. There. You know what? Oh no, we probably couldn't do that. Oh, oh, this is bad. Oh wait, no, it's not. Anyway, thank you so much for the follow the dev, Hassan. Thank you for being here. I hope you're having a fantastic Friday. We are working on crying to ourselves. Why is this trying to be an int? We're working on a project that is called the Financial Management Tracker. It is a full stack.NET Blazor application where we explore everything to do with the process of creating a new application from scratch. And thank you, Steve, for the follow. You can find the project on my GitHub. It is an open source project where you can pick everything apart and be like, why didn't you do that? Or you could be like, man, that was really cool. I like that. I'm going to try to use that in the future. What? I cry to myself a lot. Yeah. But yeah, so we're just going through this application, and the reason that I chose this application was because I have a financial management tracking system that I've been using since about 2014 or so. That's an Access database file with forms, and it connects to a SQL database at least. But I've had it forever, and I'm a Blazor developer, and I've never gone through the trouble of converting it from the Access database to a Blazor application. And so that's what we're doing. Plus, I used to stream all day long, like about 6.5 hours or 6 hours or something like that at my previous job. But I am at a new job and I'm not able to stream the work that I'm doing. So I'm instead doing 2 hours every other day. And we are working on this project instead of some kind of work product, which would be much more interesting to see. What is a real world developer doing at work? I think that had intrigued a whole bunch of people. It was definitely something that I miss doing, but can't do it anymore, can I? I'm not done putting that thing together, but I'm still going to go ahead and assign this. The other thing that I'm forgetting is resp dot record count. I really should. No, I won't do that. I was going to say I really should just have a property where record count is the number of items in data. And I would check to see, is this thing any kind of collection? If so, then let's get the count. If it's not a collection, is it null? And if so, then give me 0. I guess I would start with that. If it's null, then 0. Otherwise, it's going to be 1. But this is the fun part. Our current balance is going to be our account group dot sum x. Yeah, so this is where the hard part comes in. I need, actually, do I have it in transactions? I might have a total. I don't. I was going to say I might have a total in transaction record, but what I do have is each of the individual types. Okay, so this is where I need each set of records. So var, let's do our deposits total. Totals. Deposits total is going to be from our account group. We get transactions. Oh, dang. Copilot. All right, we get the deposits, sum their amounts, and then sum that for all transactions. So get all deposit transactions and sum their amounts. And the same thing for, I need to probably write this out. So that Copilot can just do it for me. Payments total is going to be a little bit different because for every payment, I have payment details. And payment details is the thing that has the amount. Yeah, and I really thought that I put total on one of these, but apparently I didn't put total on any of them. Maybe I'll update it. Hey, payment. Can you have a not mapped field that is a public double total? Yes. Dr. Moon was like, you actually did a thing you said that you wish you had. And this is just going to be a read-only property that will calculate its own total based off of payment details. Oh, the other thing that I would want on this is for it to be JSON ignored so that it doesn't try to serialize it. Payment details dot sum amount. And so I'm glad at the very beginning of this project, we've made the decision that for every single one of our accounts, the very first entry is going to be starting balance. That means that when we do this payment details.sum, we know that we are going to get all of the additions, subtractions, etc. from the beginning of time, from the actual starting balance of when you started tracking this account. What I've done before is in the accounts table, I had a starting balance. And then what I would need to do is say, for that starting balance, I need to add all of the payments, subtract all of the payments, subtract all of the transfers, add all of the deposits. Unless it's reversed, which we're going to have to get to very soon. I don't think that I'm using Newtonsoft anywhere currently. Am I? Excuse me. Is Newtonsoft in here? No. I am not currently using Newtonsoft. If I were using Newtonsoft, then I would want to make sure that I also did the Newtonsoft Jason ignore. But it doesn't really matter because I'm not passing back payments directly, the payments model. I'm only ever passing back a view model. Oh no. Wait. Is sound alerts too loud? I don't want it to be too loud. I was just complaining about I beat you to it. I turned it down. Yeah, compared to my volume, that was like halfway up. So hopefully it's a decent balance. But I was just complaining about BitGamey's text to speech being so loud. I don't want to be loud. Okay. Anyway, we need to figure out what Copilot didn't get right about this. Another one. Thank you. You guys are awesome. I'm getting close to the end of my stream. I have like 15 minutes left, or 14 or so. You had headphones on max volume and you weren't ready. You have me on max volume. That's scary. But thank you, Gracie Boy, for the follow. Glad you're here. Hope you're enjoying your day. If you've been lurking, then I hope you have enjoyed the energies, the productivity. I'm starting to get back on track with my mind, just refocusing and not giving into this whole Friday the 13th mess. Yeah. Okay. So you are nullable. Oh, that's probably all it was. Payment is nullable. Not every transaction is a payment. Not every transaction is a deposit. Not every transaction is a transfer. And so now our transfers are going to have two components to them. We get a transfer out total, and those are going to be Copilot. Those are going to be over 9,000 is what they're going to be. Copilot, they're going to be account group sum X transactions that are, nope. Wait, how did I get transfers directly? What? Those are my transfer outs. Okay. Or my transfer ins is what I meant to say. I really need to rename that navigation property so we know exactly what they are. These are our transactions. Transfer out is going to be anything that is a transaction whose account ID is the account that we're looking at and whose transfer to account ID, target account ID, is not the one that we're looking at. Makes sense. So that would be when we are transferring money out of this account and putting it into another account. And the companion component, the friend of this, the words escape me. Tyron is called a transfer in total. And that's going to be our account group sum X. And so this navigation property here, this transfer, yes. I haven't. Well, yes, I have. Sorry. I played it maybe twice because we had Lemmings in elementary school as one of the computer games that you could play. There was SimCity, there was Lemmings, and there was Oregon Trail. I usually opted to play Oregon Trail, which was a lot of fun. Played it on the overhead projector in high school. That sounds fun. But I only played Lemmings once, and then my wife played Lemmings. I think a lot before. Maybe I could be wrong. She'll correct me if I'm wrong. Um, and then we talked about it, and then we downloaded it. I think, and then I played it again. I still don't really get it, but I do love the sound from Lemmings. It's so nostalgic, even though I didn't really play it. Transfers some. This is using the same variable. Oh no, pop. Oh, I don't know. I was like, what happened? Uh, mhm. These are using the same variable, and I guess it's because it's scoped and it knows how to deal with that, but I still like giving them different variable names. Oh, good. I didn't miss the entire stream, just, an hour and 50 minutes of it. But anyway, hi, Epidus. I hope you're doing well. Epidus. Or Trey. You tell me. I need to click on this. There you go. Click this. We're almost done with this, by the way. Ah, now we just need to do the maths correctly, but we also need to remember that in the future, I'm going to go ahead and put a to do. Update the account entity to include the flag for whether payments add to or subtract from the total. So again, I mentioned this earlier where if you have an account that's a bank account, like a checking account, then when you make a payment from that account, then you are decreasing the amount of money or whatever it is that you're tracking in it. And then if it's something like a credit card that you are charging against, so you're still doing a payment from that account, then you are increasing the amount. And then for a credit card, when you're depositing into an account, you are paying off your credit card, and so you're decreasing. Your PC is so cool, it allows you to see through walls. Is that what Big Gamey just said? The software is called Windows. Gosh. Like I was watching Big Gamey a little bit and he's messing around with clipping. I think. I think he was messing around with clipping. And he could see through walls. Oh, Dukasoft. What do you call a fake noodle? An impasta. That's from Big Amy's channel. So for now, we're just going to assume that deposits increase, payments decrease, transfer outs decrease, and transfer ins increase. These signs will be reversed based off of whether the account is increase on deposit or decrease on deposit, increase on payment, decrease on payment. But that's it. We should have all of our account balance data when we query for all account summaries. Let's go ahead and do the single, which is exactly this, exactly this, exactly this. And of course, what I could probably do is turn this into a method. Little screwdriver on the left. Excuse me. Excuse me. Little screwdriver or light bulb on the left. That is not going to let me do a thing. That says extract method, where we take in an account group. We're not going to take in an account group. We're going to take in an account entity. But that's okay. I like how it's using rep model. Oh, duh. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Oh my gosh. You know what? Let's undo that real quick. And let us do this instead. Yes. Oh my gosh. Account summary. So what this is going to return, and we're going to go var account summary equals this. Account. Thank you, President. Not sure. Good to see you. If you've been lurking this whole time, I appreciate your energy being here. Probably one of the people that's helping me get out of my brain jam. My brow, my squish, my mush, my. Let's extract this now. I keep right clicking. I guess you get the light bulb at the top. Shut up, Bone. I know. Get to account summary. You know what? We're gonna turn it into a an extension method. So for now, we're just going to leave it called to account summary from in here. But this is going to eventually be. No, just account. This is going to eventually. I don't need to group this. I don't need to group this. Why'd you guys let me go that far? We're going to turn this into a thing where I can put, instead of account groups, this is just my accounts. And then for each account in account groups, this is going to be account dot to account summary model when I turn this into an extension, which I will do shortly. But for now, we don't need this. And everywhere that we have account dot sum, we're just going to change to account dot. And you're going to be called account. And then account.transactions.sum is going to be okay here. I think you have. I'm not exactly sure why you're angry at me. And I need to do. I'm going to fix these because they're easy. Account.id and account.name. But why are you angry? Cannot implicitly convert from double to bool. Why are you trying to convert to bool? Thank you so much for the follow, Joel. Gross desir? Was I anywhere close? Why are you trying to go from a double? Oh, because when I pushed end, it took me to the end of this wrapped line instead of the end of the actual line. Okay, so now that I have that, that makes our get single account super easy, which is all of this stuff. And I'm just going to assign it directly to ret resp.data. Instead of group by, you are going to be dot first or default async, which we'll await, pass in the cancellation token, and everyone's going to be happy. Line this up nice and whoops, pretty. Not really, but it's better than it were. Await, await in the manger the little. That's nice. Dot. Oh, I usually put this here. Dot to. I can't do dot to account. Dang it. Let's go ahead and do that first. Let's turn this into an extension method on account. I'll put it down here at the bottom to make it easier for myself, but unless I already have an extension for accounts in my shared account summary model. Yeah, I'll put it in here. So public static class account summary view model extensions. Oops. Public static. Oh, is he on? Yeah, I'll definitely rate him. Or wait, what? Oh yeah, the dot definitely messes it up. It's just weird because it's not happening in my Twitch in Chrome or my Twitch in the message. Yeah, I'll try to get those fixed. You know what I'm trying to say. Delete that. Paste you there. Make you public. I just need to do this really quick. I need to get back to work, but I wanted to finish this. So we're going to go from an account to an account summary model. I think that this is better than AutoMapper currently because I would have way too many mapping profiles and it would bog down my application at present. But now I can use that to go to account summary view model. And we just need to question mark dot. Why are you still angry at me? We'll get it up here so that we can get the right using, but account dot. Yeah, this thing is still angry at me. Oh, because we can't dot off of the task to account summary. We have to account off dot off of the await of that task. There we go. This will give us back both. So let's just give it a quick shot to see if we can get back some data from our account summary code behind. We're going to go into protected, override, void, async, task uninitialized, async, var account data. Oh, no. Get account summaries, async. And what I have been doing lately, so this is a new thing that I've been starting to do, is I would have a private cancellation token source for any of my pages that do some kind of query to the server. You got to spell it correctly though. I would have a private cancellation token source, CTS sauce, which is nullable, so I don't have to worry about this green mess. And on initialize async, I create a new cancellation token source. I have this thing implement deposable, and on dispose, I cancel the token source, and I use that as my token passed to this method. And this is why I would have my client side do all of the error handling, because one of the exceptions that could be raised from the HTTP client is task canceled exception, or actually operation canceled exception, I think, when it's the HTTP client. So regardless of whether you tell this token to throw if canceled or not, you're still going to get an exception if the HTTP request is canceled due to a cancellation token. And so I would want to make sure that I handle that. But that means that if we navigate to this page, to this application, and we say get account summaries, and then we immediately close the window, navigate somewhere else, or somehow that component gets thrown away, then it will cancel the request to get the data because it doesn't need it anymore. And that's it. We're just going to do that. We're going to put a breakpoint here. Debug.assert. Wait, is there a debug.break? Whatever. Right line account data dot was error. So this will let us know if there was an error or not. And actually, I don't have anything that's going to be an error, so whatever. So let's save this. I'm going to go ahead and stop the .NET Watch. We're going to run it with debugger attached. I need more water. That's okay. This is the last thing that we're going to do for now, just to prove that our account summary service, our account service works to get our account summary data. And if it fails, then you have a reason to come back. And if it works successfully, then you have another reason to come back. So let's do it. Run the app. Do the do. Okay. When we see the account summary component is not used anywhere. Data entry view or data entry page? Anyone? Anyone? Anyone have a data entry page? Anyone at all? Data entry page. Account summary. Yeah. Okay. Now we should have something that hits the breakpoint. Do we not? Hello, account summary. Account summary. Is it just me, or did that not actually initialize? Data entry summary page. Again, has dead joke? Is this one just a regular API, or is yeah? That's a data entry page. Okay, that looks like it hit a breakpoint. And this thing says our account data is a list of 3 accounts that have a current balance of negative $17. Oh, crap. I forgot about pending. So we'll do that tomorrow, but we did get an account balance of the sum of all of the transactions. However, in our to account summary model, to do separate out. Ooh, what happened to my to do that I had with that before? Give me this. Oops, give me this. We need this to do, and then we need a to do to separate out pending versus posted. Okay, so we can only actually subtract the amount from the total transaction amount if it was posted. Otherwise, it's just a pending amount. Okie dokie. So that's going to be it for today. Thank you all for joining me. I hope you had fun. I hope you had an enjoyable ending Friday. Um, yeah, we are going to go ahead. Unless he's wrapping up, we're going to go. Cool. We're going to go raid BitGamey. So if you feel like hanging out with me over on BitGamey stream, I was talking about him all day long. That's who we are going to go see for those of you that aren't already there. So for me, I think Monday is a holiday, so I won't be streaming, but I'll stream again on Wednesday, unless Monday is not a holiday, in which case I will stream. So I'll just let you know on Discord what it's going to be. He's growing up. Duke Soft, turn him into a baby. Yeah, so we're going to go see Big Amy. And yeah, like Dukasoft posted, I put my videos on YouTube 24 hours after the stream ends, or sometime shortly after 24 hours after the stream ends. And what else is there? There's our Discord. Feel free to join our Discord. And then there's all the wonderful people that I have shouting out all the time. There's Irish John Games, there's Softism Software, who hasn't streamed for a while, I don't think. Swaimware. Just all of the cool people from our community, or we're in their community. 3 R's. 3 R's. And there's Irish John Games' game, and then there's also Artificial. Anyway, that's going to be it for me. Hope you guys enjoy rest of your weekend, all of your weekend. Ciao for now. Bye. I'm not even going to turn my camera off because it's just going to flip over and then it's going to interrupt me and I'm just going to keep talking and then it's. You guys can still see me though. YouTube.